Hello, and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Today, Bitcoin has experienced a slight uptick, showing some upward movement. We'll need to see how it behaves once the stock market opens, as there could be an impulse either up or down, introducing some additional volatility during the initial trading hours. I won't cover the daily time frame again since that was discussed in my earlier video today. Feel free to check that out if you want a more comprehensive overview. For now, we'll focus on the shorter time frames. Since my last video, we've seen a minor increase, nothing significant. Let's quickly glance at the 1-hour chart before zooming in on the 30-minute time frame. Currently, we're dealing with both short-term bullish and bearish scenarios for BTC. I'll move the main support area to the right. There are two scenarios I'm tracking. 1. The short-term bearish scenario, represented by the white wave count. In this scenario, we've observed an ABC structure to the downside, which bottomed out in mid-April. This correction started around March 13th and could potentially represent the entirety of Wave 4, forming an ABC structure. There was even a reaction to the support region, which is what we typically expect. However, the price couldn't rally in an impulse or a 5-wave move, and we've just seen a lower low. My interpretation is that this was the start of a B wave in the white count, and we're now in the C wave of that B wave. This C wave could potentially reach one more high. What's crucial is what happens after the 5-wave move to the upside. Even in the white count, this could be a C wave. If a support area holds and a higher low forms after these 5 waves, then we might see continued upward movement. However, if we break below the support, then this is the white C wave of Wave 4 to the downside. The key point here is that in this scenario, a top can form at any time. It's entirely possible that the B wave has already topped. If it has, it's not evident at this stage, which is why I'm leaning towards the yellow count for now. If the B wave has topped, we would see an immediate move down. The B wave essentially indicates that this rally can top at any time. We use support areas based on Fibonacci mathematics to confirm when the B wave has topped. If the B wave has indeed topped, Circle C should send us into the next phase. The region around 55,500 to 58,000 brings us to the yellow count. In the yellow scenario, the correction was complete, but I can't label it as an ABC structure because the ABC would have concluded around April 17th. Instead, it can be viewed as a WXY pattern, where the Y wave itself is an ABC structure, indicating a more complex correction. In this scenario, we are now in the next move to the upside, possibly forming a 5-wave pattern that could be labeled as Wave 1. After this, we would expect a 3-wave pullback in Wave 2, followed by another higher low, and then the continuation of the upward movement. Now, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. But before that, I want to remind you about the newsletter I'll be sending out this weekend. Last weekend's newsletter included an analysis of the Blur token, among other content related to mindset and more. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, you can find the link on our website under Resources-Newsletter. The link is also in the video description. The newsletter is completely free, and you can unsubscribe anytime. It provides a lot of valuable information, and I plan to add more content in the future. So, check it out, and if it's not for you, you can always opt out. Back to the yellow wave count, there are 2 variations. 1. The Wave 4 has already bottomed, and we're now moving up in an ABC structure, which could form a larger wave. 2. Let's zoom in on the 30-minute chart to examine these variations more closely. Could then lead to another B and C wave, potentially taking us to around 76K. In this scenario, the make-or-break point is at 66.3K, which was last week's low. As long as this level holds, I expect further upside, and the pattern remains intact. This upward movement could be part of the ABC structure I've shown, or it might have completed, but practically, it wouldn't make much difference. We might have also completed a triangle pattern, labeled as ABCD, where the breakout typically occurs on the opposite side of the E wave. In this case, Wave 4 would still be unfolding. However, you can't clearly distinguish between these 2 scenarios at the moment, and it doesn't significantly impact the analysis. What's crucial is that if we break below that red line, there is still one more chance for the yellow count to find support in a more extended Wave 4. This could involve the internal B wave forming a triangle that breaks down but holds at 64.4K. The golden ratio level. From there, we could still turn around and attempt another rally in Wave 5. Only below 63.7K would I have to assume that the white B wave topped. If we break above yesterday's high at 69,500, it would be a good indication that a low was formed. As I mentioned in the last video, we've already seen some upside, which could be a 1-2 setup, but it's not reliable because the wave 1 is a 3-wave move, which isn't trustworthy. Overall, the situation remains uncertain, but since we haven't seen a clear impulse or a 5-wave move to the downside, I'm leaning towards higher prices. That's my update on Bitcoin. If you found it useful, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. If you really enjoy the content, consider joining the channel membership. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional updates. Thanks for watching and bye-bye. Hello, and welcome to another update video about Solana. Solana hasn't moved much since yesterday, remaining in a sideways consolidation above the support area highlighted in orange. This support area includes 4 Fibonacci levels: 167, 161, 155, and roughly 148. Any sustained break below 147.74 would make me favor the yellow wave count, suggesting the B wave already topped, potentially sending us down to 209 or even lower. However, as long as this area holds, I prefer the orange scenario. In the orange count, we're seeing an extended B wave similar to the yellow count, but more extended. I currently interpret the B wave as completed on May 26th. A critical condition is that the $161 level holds. Any break below this would reset the B wave lower. As long as this swing low holds, a C wave rally could be underway, though I'm not convinced by the price action yet. We have some invalidation points to watch. The first is the swing low from Sunday, the 26th, at $161. As long as this level holds, it's possible to maintain the perspective that the B wave has indeed bottomed. It looks like we're dealing with an AWXY structure where wave W was an ABC structure. We experienced a strong surge in the X wave, acting as a connecting wave, followed by another ABC structure to the downside. However, the C wave was relatively short, which is unusual but still acceptable. It's also possible that this B wave is still unfolding. As I mentioned earlier, if we break below the red line, it wouldn't invalidate the overall assumption. It would just reset the B wave that presumably bottomed on Sunday to a slightly lower level. This could lead to a retest of the lower support levels in the range of $155.56 to $147.74. We have another invalidation point at the small swing low that formed yesterday, Thursday, at $163.15. If we assume that the larger C wave to the upside has started, with wave 1 of C already completed and wave 2 pulling back into Thursday's low, then as long as that level holds, we could be looking at a third wave to the upside, which would be wave 3 of C. However, there is no 5-wave move to the upside from that swing low, so this is speculative and fits into the wave count. A convincing break above $173.15 would be necessary to see this as likely. In this interpretation, the larger C wave of wave 3 would form an ending diagonal pattern. We had wave 1 up, wave 2 down, and this could be the third wave to the upside in an ABC structure. This is what I'm currently tracking. Please be aware of these short-term invalidation points. If these micro patterns invalidate, it wouldn't change much. A break below the B wave support zone would be needed to make me favor a different scenario overall, which would be the yellow count. That's my update on Solana. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. If you really enjoy the content, consider joining the channel membership. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional updates. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.